It's Friday, everyone. What do we do on Fridays here at the Hint Hive? That's right, we smash the patriarchy. Hey there, my beautiful honeybees. Welcome back to the Hint Hive, amplifying women's voices, where we lift, educate, and empower women just like you. I'm your host, Kelly Hint, Queen Bee of this hive, and today we're discussing a topic that touches each and every one of us, women's health care. Now, this conversation isn't just about yearly checkups and birth control. Oh no, we're peeling back the layers and getting real about the challenges we face, the rights we are still fighting for, and how we can take charge of our health on our terms. Okay, let's start with the basics, some cold hard facts. Women's healthcare is not where it should be. We have certainly made strides, but there is a lot more work to be done. So let's talk some numbers. Heart disease is the leading cause of death for women in the U.S., yet many women don't realize it because cardiovascular research and treatment historically focuses more on men. Additionally, women are 3 times more likely than men to suffer from autoimmune diseases, yet these illnesses often go undiagnosed for years. And for those who have listened to the podcast previously, you know that it took me 15 years to get my lupus diagnosis. And which leads into this next point. On average, women wait longer for a diagnosis and treatment of many conditions, including chronic pain issues like endometriosis or fibromyalgia, and in my case, lupus. Some studies show that women are less likely to be believed by doctors when reporting pain. Yep, been there, done that. So let that sink in. We're not only fighting our symptoms, but a healthcare system that often does not listen. But here's where we start taking control. We have the power within us to get our needs met, but we'll talk about that in a second. Let's first talk about the stuff that people aren't discussing enough. We know that maternal mortality rates are still way too high, especially for Black and Indigenous women. And in the year 2024, that's embarrassing. Just flat out embarrassing. In fact, Black women are nearly 3 times more likely to die from pregnancy-related complications compared to white women. That is freaking unacceptable. And clearly, it gets under my skin, and I'm very, very passionate about this. But let's go beyond pregnancy. Have you ever had a doctor shrug off your concerns about period pain? Or told you it's just stress when your body is telling you otherwise? Too often, we are dismissed or our symptoms are attributed to, quote, hormones. This not only delays treatment, but it damages our trust in the system. That's what happened to me. I gave up on doctors after 15 years of telling doctors that something was freaking wrong with me and being told, it's all in my head, it's my anxiety, blah, 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 blah. All it took was one simple blood test to confirm that yes, something indeed was wrong. And of course, we cannot talk about women's health care without diving into reproductive rights. Whether it's contraception, abortion access, or fertility treatments, our right to choose what happens to our bodies is constantly under threat. And let me be clear, reproductive rights are health care. I do not care what your stance is on abortion access or abortion in itself. Reproductive rights are health care. Now, globally, around 214 million women who want to avoid pregnancy aren't using modern contraception. And in the US, the battle for abortion rights is still raging despite the fact that 1 in 4 women will have an abortion in her lifetime. And here's the thing. When we lose access to safe and legal reproductive care, we lose our agency over our bodies, our futures, and our health. If we can't decide if and when to have children, we lose control over our economic freedom, our education, our careers, everything. We need to normalize these conversations. Talk to your friends about your birth control, your miscarriages, your fertility struggles. When we share our stories, we change the stigma. As a therapist, I have worked with women who have struggled with the negative impact of their birth control. I've worked with women who have had multiple miscarriages. And I have worked with women who have gone through IVF. And let me tell you, as someone who has never gone through IVF, it was shocking to me how much I felt their pain as they told me their stories in this journey. And one of the things that I found so sad in all of these scenarios is that these women didn't feel that they could talk to anyone about this. They felt they could only come to me as a therapist and really, truly share their true, honest feelings. Now, don't get me wrong. I feel incredibly grateful to have been part of their journey and get them to a point of healing. But how freaking sad that we feel like we can't talk about some of these issues. And also, as a woman who is postmenopausal, we don't talk nearly enough about menopause. And I think I said this in a prior episode when I did share some of my menopausal journey. There are people who think that menopause is simply you no longer have your period. I wish it was that easy. And I wish we talked about it, because I would not have tortured myself for 6 damn years before going on hormone replacement therapy. And it's because we don't talk about these things that affected me, and I know it affects so many other people. And so I'm so incredibly passionate about using this podcast to talk about the issues that we don't want to talk about. In abortion rights, that is such a touchy subject, but guess what? We still need to talk about it. Can we please normalize talking about uncomfortable things? Life is not sunshine and rainbows, and our conversations don't need to be also. I am very close with so many people in my life who are pro-life as well as pro-choice. I have a very wide selection of beliefs in my own family and social systems. And guess what? I can talk with any of them about it, because the more we talk about it, the more it's normalized, and we get new information and we get to think about things from different perspectives, just like politics. I know I've talked a lot about politics lately, but hello, it's political season. It's an election year here in the United States, so it's there. Think about how much we don't talk about the actual issues in politics because it turns into a damn fight. Well, how do you think women feel when we can't talk about our own damn bodies because it leads to a fight? I don't know. That just seems so messed up to me, that we can't talk about an unwanted pregnancy or a surprise pregnancy or a trauma-related pregnancy or a miscarriage. Like, why can't we talk about this? Why can't I talk about the fact that I used to have periods so bad that I would sweat bullets and feel like I'm throwing up? Why isn't this more normalized? It's not gross or disgusting. It's a fact of life. Just like going to the bathroom, right? Having a period is a fact of life for many women. And so it should be normalized. We should be able to talk about it. We should take the stigma away from these touchy subjects. And this comes from, here we go, here's the word. It comes from the damn patriarchal system that we live under. Because guess what? A lot of guys don't want to hear about our period cramps. Guys don't want to know about endometriosis. Guys don't want to think about pregnancy stuff as much as we do. So it's time for us to push back on this stuff. And also, I'm actually fresh off of my annual boob squish. So I'm going to talk about regular healthcare visits. Another thing that we don't talk about nearly enough. So if there's one thing that I want you to take away from today, it is this. Do not skip your regular healthcare visits. We've got enough on our plates, but putting our health on the back burner is not doing us any favors, okay? And I will fully admit to being a hypocrite here until recently. I put off going to the doctor, and you know what? I'm going to roll that back a little bit. I'm not a hypocrite. I am a victim of a healthcare system that not always focuses on women's healthcare. And as such, I have had a negative relationship with the medical profession. So of course, my routine visits have suffered. I have pushed away annual visits to the gynecologist. I've pushed away mammograms, and I don't go to the doctor unless I am damn near dying. Because for 15 years, I went to these medical professionals begging them to help me figure out what was wrong with me, and I got nothing. But I am here to say that I have readjusted my mindset, and I have taken back my power. I have taken control of my body and my health, and I am encouraging every woman listening to this to do the same. I will tell you that the gynecologist that I go to, she is very trauma informed, and I cannot sing her praises enough. For those of you in the Rochester, New York area, my doctor's name is Amanda Victory, Dr. Victory. She's in Rochester, and I have never had an experience with a gynecologist like this. Now, it may be more common nowadays. I don't know. But let me tell you, if you are in the Rochester area, and I feel like I'm plugging her right now, that's not what I'm doing. I'm just simply emphasizing this because it's so important. But if you are a woman in the Rochester area who has had sexual trauma and you have avoided getting pap smears because of your trauma, this woman, this doctor is amazing. She is so incredibly gentle, and she talks to you the whole time, and she says things like, okay, I'm going to put my hand on your thigh. I'm going to push gently to, no matter how she's touching you or where or why. Even if she was to put her hand on your knee to move your knee up or down, it doesn't matter. She tells you what she is doing every step of the way. And I cannot tell you how grateful I am to her for not treating me like a slab of meat and being incredibly rough like I have had before. I've had some very physically uncomfortable visits to a gynecologist before. So what do we do when we have pain? We try to avoid it. So she's fantastic. And I would encourage you, because obviously I have listeners all around the world and all around the United States. So you can't all fly to Dr. Amanda Victory, despite how fabulous she is. I would encourage you to talk to your friends, your relatives, any female that you know locally who can give you a recommendation for a gynecologist, and find out is this gynecologist trauma informed? Do they understand what it's like to work with women with sexual trauma? Okay, I got really off on a tangent there. Sorry, but it's very important. So let's get back to talking about annual exams. So Pap smears. Yep, they're uncomfortable, but they detect cervical cancer early. And for me, it was through Pap smears that a cyst in my uterus was found. And so it's really important to get these done. And breast exams. So self-exams are crucial, but do not skip your clinical exams or mammograms after 40 or earlier if you have a family history of breast cancer. Like I said, I'm fresh off of my annual mammogram. And if anyone has an Elizabeth Wendy breast care center around them, they are fabulous. I had previously, my very first mammogram was at a hospital many, many years ago, because there was a lump that needed to be looked at, and it was not cool at all. It was painful. It was embarrassing. Again, I felt like a slab of meat. I felt like my boobs were just being thrown on a plate and squished to the point of pain, and it was not a pleasant experience. So I pushed it off, and then my primary doctor encouraged me to go to the Elizabeth Wendy Breast Care Center, and my experience was totally different. And again, I just had one done this morning as part of my annual health self-care, and I was in and out. The whole thing took maybe 10 minutes, and I had my results within 20 minutes of getting home. It was shocking. And side note, apparently, if you get fatter and you have previously had very dense breast tissue, that might actually get a little better if your boobs get fattier. So, hey, maybe I should keep on some of this extra weight because it made the the mammogram much easier for the doctors to read. But anyway, let's also talk about bone density tests. Osteoporosis can creep up without any symptoms, especially post-menopause. So get checked early. This is something that I have not done yet, but I know I really need to, because I really struggle to get enough like calcium, vitamin D. I take supplements, but it doesn't seem to be enough. And so now that I've been postmenopausal for a while, I probably will end up scheduling a bone density test at some point in the near future. And of course, let's not forget mental health, because taking care of your mind is just as important as taking care of your body. Depression, anxiety, PTSD, these are all things that women experience at higher rates than men, often related to hormone fluctuations and life stressors. So as part of your healthy self-care routine, I encourage you, if you're struggling with some life stressors, seek out a therapist or a coach such as myself. We are here and we are more than happy to help you through either life transitions or dysfunction or trauma, whatever it is. There are so many of us out here that want to help you, because we know how incredibly helpful and life-changing therapy and coaching can be. Okay, now let's talk about some action steps. Your health, your power. Here's where we roll up our sleeves and we take control. You, and you alone, are your best advocate, and nobody knows your body like you do. If something feels wrong, say it. If your doctor isn't listening, find another one. Trust me, they are all out there. They are out there and they're ready and willing to help you. You just need to find them. When I work with people either in therapy or coaching, I sometimes say to them, you are the expert in you. I'm not the expert in you. I'm the expert in mental health. However, you know you better than anyone else. I'm simply here to help you navigate all of that. And I say the same thing to you when it comes to your body. I knew for 15 years that something was wrong. And I did not stop. Okay, maybe that's a little bit of a lie or not so insightful. I gave up multiple times, but then I picked myself back up and I kept going. I kept trying to find the answers. And thankfully, I landed on someone who performed the blood test that needed to be performed in order for doctors to start taking me seriously. I would like to think that I never would have given up. I would like to think that I would have kept going. But to be very honest, I don't know. I don't know if I would have kept fighting the fight. But again, like I said, I like to think that I would. So I encourage you, don't give up. And if you feel like you need help, again, please reach out to someone like me who will give you the confidence that you need. I've told people before, if you feel like you don't have a backbone, I will loan you mine. If you don't have confidence, I will hand mine over to you. I will transform you into the damn freaking warrior that you are inside. I will help you to get what you want in life. That is one of my biggest passions in life. And let me tell you, I have seen the transformation in the women that I work with. I have seen women scared of their own shadow turn into these badasses that go after what they want and they get it. And I feel so incredibly blessed to be there, to be part of their journey, to hold their hand as they find their strength and their power. It's amazing. It's absolutely amazing. And sometimes I feel guilty that I get paid to do this because there is nothing more powerful for me than watching a woman come into her power. And if you're listening to me right now and you feel like you don't have any, oh, sweetheart, you have more than you could ever know. It is in there. And if you need to, reach out to me and we will find it together. I will walk with you on your journey. All right, I'm getting way off topic. So let's get back to women's healthcare. Here's what I want you to do this week. This is your homework, okay? Schedule any overdue appointments, whether it's a physical, a gyno visit, or a mental health check-in. Next, talk to your friends and family about reproductive rights and healthcare challenges if you need to. Share your experiences and be open. Be honest. Rely on your healthy social and family supports. And lastly, educate yourself on local healthcare laws. Because knowledge is power, and we need to know what rights we are fighting to keep, whether it's IVF, abortion rights, access to birth control, no matter what it is. Educate yourself and know what you are facing. Reach out to local advocacy groups if you need to. If you want to do something, if you want to fight for rights that you feel are being suppressed, absolutely do that. And again, if you get stuck somewhere along the way, please feel free to reach out to me because together we are unstoppable. And I don't want you to forget that ever. Ladies, women's health care isn't just a woman's issue. It's a human issue. When we have control over our health, we have control over our lives. And guess what? We are unstoppable when we take that control back. So let's keep this conversation going. Hit me up on social media, message me in the Hint Hive Facebook group, send me an email, send me a text in the description of this podcast episode. Share your thoughts, share your stories. Together, we amplify each other's voices and raise the volume on what matters most. Let's bring to light all of these subjects that are often thrust into the darkness. There is no shame in talking about our healthcare, in talking about our bodies, in talking about our needs. Ladies, I want to thank you so much for tuning into the Hint Hive Amplifying Women's Voices. I'll see you next time. And until then, keep speaking up, keep fighting for your health, and keep being the badass that you are. This podcast is powered by Kelly Hint Empowerment Coaching, as well as Kelly M. Hint LMHC and The Cranky Counselor. To find out more about coaching services, head over to CoachKellyHint.com. If you'd like to know more about the psychotherapy services I offer to individuals within the state of New York, you can check out KellyMHint.com. And if you'd like to learn more about aromatherapy, you can check out TheCrankyCounselor.com.